Welcome to today's story. What you're about to hear isn't just about betrayal, but about rediscovery. Imagine giving 20 years of your life to someone you love, raising children, building a future together, only to come home one evening and find your entire world shifting in a single moment. This is the story of Daniel Carter, a husband, a father, a man who thought he had everything figured out, until the truth shattered his marriage. But what began as heartbreak turned into a journey of strength, clarity, and an unexpected second chance at love. Let's begin. That night marked the beginning of a chapter one never thought I'd face. After more than 2 decades of marriage, 2 daughters I adored, and what I believed was a rock-solid partnership, everything began to unravel before my eyes. My name is Daniel Carter, and at the time I was 47 years old. On the outside, my life looked like the picture of stability. I was a senior partner at a respected accounting firm, living in a comfortable home in the suburbs. My wife, Melissa, and I had just celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary a few months prior. We had met in college, fallen in love quickly, and tied the knot not long after graduation. Our marriage wasn't perfect, but I truly believed, that it was built on something lasting. Together, we had raised 2 daughters who were the heartbeat of our home. Samantha, our oldest, had just started her freshman year at college. Abigail, our youngest, was a high school senior, busy with classes, sports, and plans for the future. The girls were close, inseparable even. Their constant laughter, playful arguments, and chatter filled the house with warmth and noise. But when Samantha left for college 6 weeks earlier, everything shifted. The silence in the house became sharp, almost suffocating. Melissa seemed particularly affected. She grew distant, distracted, and oddly quiet. I chalked it up to empty nest syndrome. I didn't push her, thinking she just needed time to adjust. I figured maybe a quiet weekend together would help us reset, to reconnect before Abigail left too. That Friday evening, with Abigail away on a school trip, I made a spontaneous decision. I left work early, bought a bottle of her favorite wine, and planned to cook her favorite meal. I was actually excited, hopeful. I thought we'd share a quiet night, just the 2 of us, and maybe remember who we were before life became so hectic. But when I pulled into the driveway, I noticed something unusual. Melissa's car was already in the garage. That was odd. On Fridays, she usually stayed late at work or met friends. The sight gave me a strange, uneasy feeling. I stepped inside, calling out cheerfully, "I'm home." Her reply came back calm, but there was something in her tone I couldn't quite place. When I walked into our bedroom, my chest tightened instantly. She was standing at the mirror, carefully applying her makeup. She wore the sleek black dress I had given her last Christmas, along with the pearl necklace I surprised her with for our last anniversary. On the bed beside her was an open suitcase, half-packed. Trying to keep things light, I smiled and said, "Going somewhere? Give me 5 minutes and I'll pack too." But she didn't smile. She didn't even look at me. Instead, she spoke with a steady, almost rehearsed voice. "Daniel, I wasn't planning to tell you like this, but since you're home early, you deserve an explanation." I felt the room tilt beneath me. She told me she was going away for the weekend. Not with a girlfriend, not on a trip. With someone else. She admitted it started with innocent lunches, nothing more. But those lunches had turned into something emotional, as she put it. She said she needed time away. Time to feel wanted, alive, youthful. She swore it wasn't about love or even romance. The man was married too. According to her, this was something like therapy. Something she needed for herself. I just stared at her, numb. My voice cracked as I asked, "You think spending a weekend with another man is going to fix what's wrong between us?" She calmly repeated that it had nothing to do with me. That she'd be back Monday and everything would go back to normal. Her composure cut deeper than the words. There were no tears, no hesitation, no guilt. I didn't stop her. I didn't beg. All I asked was that she keep her phone on so I would know she was safe. She nodded and then added one more request. "Please don't follow me. Don't interfere." A few minutes later, a car pulled into the driveway. She picked up her bag, walked out the door, and didn't look back. I didn't yell. I didn't break down. I didn't even cry. Instead, I picked up my phone and scrolled through my contacts until I found a name I hadn't thought about in years. Rachel Hayes. Years ago, Rachel and I had shared something meaningful. We had been close, maybe even on the edge of becoming more, but I had chosen Melissa. I was committed to her then, so Rachel and I drifted apart. But that night I needed someone who understood me, someone who could listen without judgment. When Rachel answered, the sound of her voice felt like warmth after being out in the cold. We talked for hours. I told her everything. Melissa's distance, her so-called therapy weekend, and how my marriage had just collapsed in front of me. Rachel listened, patient and kind, and when I finally stopped talking, she asked softly, "What do you need, Daniel?" My throat tightened. "I don't want to be alone tonight. I need someone to talk to." Without hesitation, she invited me over. That night didn't lead to anything romantic. We simply sat together, talked, and reconnected. For the first time in years, I felt heard. Felt cared for. Something I hadn't realized I'd been missing for so long. Melissa returned Sunday evening, looking radiant, refreshed, almost glowing. She smiled playfully and said, "See? Nothing's changed." But everything had. I looked at her and with complete clarity said, "This marriage is over. I'm not angry. I might forgive you someday. But I can't live like this anymore. Tomorrow I'm filing for divorce." Her face shifted instantly from confidence to panic, but I was already past the point of no return. The divorce that followed was respectful but firm. I made sure our daughters understood the truth without feeling like they had to take sides. I told them to keep loving their mother, despite her mistake. Over time they adjusted. As for me, Rachel became more than a lifeline. What began as comfort and reconnection grew into something deeper, something real. We fell in love, married a few years later, and built a life together grounded in honesty and care. We welcomed 2 beautiful children of our own, and I embraced the role of stepfather to her son, Ethan, with pride. That weekend, the one that could have destroyed me, ended up reshaping my entire future. Melissa lost a man who would have stood by her for life. But I found the woman I was truly meant to grow old with. Sometimes it takes the sharpest heartbreak to open the door to genuine happiness. Daniel's story reminds us that sometimes, the deepest wounds can open the path to the greatest healing. Betrayal may break you, but it doesn't have to define you. Out of heartbreak, he found truth, renewal, and a love that was truly meant for him. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful real-life stories. Until next time, remember, even in the darkest moments, there's always a way forward.